What? Good afternoon, folks. You hearing me loud and clear out there in webinar land? All right, all right, all right. Well, it looks like we are getting started here today. Looks like we've got a couple of different people, a couple more people joining the webinar this afternoon, but we're going to go ahead and get rolling, get started answering some of you guys' questions. And again, thank you so much for making our first Ask Me Anything such a huge success, guys. Couldn't have done it without you. It was really exciting to have so many amazing questions get asked and the opportunity to really dig into some of these burning lead generation questions that some of you folks have when it comes to thinking about your team and thinking about how you can really take these techniques and this lead generation and this ISA model to the next level, and how you can really add value to your organization and help you hit your goals faster by really focusing on your lead generation. So, quick announcement. I know last time many of you were, or I'd mentioned last time that we were headed to Boomtown Unite. Well, we ended up getting hit by Hurricane Matthew, so pretty much went out there and turned right around after Governor Haley announced an evacuation of pretty much everybody on the peninsula there in Charleston. So it was an abrupt turnaround to an event. But for those of you on the Boomtown platform, I will say, without a doubt, you're going to be super excited about some of the new enhancements that are coming out. We actually got a chance to get a sneak preview of some of the new features that are coming out to Boomtown. I can't really talk about them right here in a public forum, but just know that it's going to be incredible, very useful, powerful stuff that you guys are going to be able to leverage to get more value out of your Boomtown platform, to make it easier for your agents to do their job of selling more homes. So look for some more information coming out on that. Very, very exciting stuff. Always love it when you see a big technology partner like that leveling up their game, taking it to the next level with the new tools and features and rollouts that keep them ahead of the curve. Yeah, it's a very competitive world out there in the technology landscape. All right, so let's get into a couple of questions here. All right, first one that Ray Lopez asks, what is the best closing script that you have for internet leads for both buyers and sellers to set the appointment? All right, so guys, this is something that's near and dear to my heart. So over at my company, Rockerbox, we focus on exclusively internet leads. So our call center handles about 15,000 internet leads every single month. So we have really thought through a lot about how we are going to get the most value out of those internet leads on behalf of our clients. So I want to give you guys a quick acronym that you can use when it comes to how you're thinking about your scripts and how you're getting the most value out of the words that you're using and saying on a sales presentation with an internet lead. So the acronym is real simple. It's CARE. So that's C-A-R-E. So the first C stands for contact. The A stands for ask questions / add value. The R is for recommend, and the E is for encourage. So, the reason that we think about the script in terms of CARE, again, contact, ask questions and add value, recommend, and encourage, is because it really thinks you through and takes you through the arc of the sales conversation when it comes to getting a person from really stranger. Remember, these are internet leads, and in many cases with a lot of these home valuation sites or websites that are for searching for homes, these folks have entered their information because they want more information, either value for their home or just to be able to continue looking at pictures of homes. on sites like Zillow and Truly and Realtor.com, those folks have actually entered their information in with the expectation that they're going to hear from a real estate professional. But in many of these lead capture processes, these folks are sort of hoping they don't get bothered, right? It's that knee-jerk reaction when you go into a shoe store and the salesperson walks up and says, "Hi, can I help you find something?" And you say, "Just looking," right? It's that reflex no. And so by thinking through the arc of the script, what it allows you to do is actually get beyond that reflex no and get somebody engaged in a conversation. So contact. What I like to see when you're contacting somebody is a really quick introduction, something along the lines of, "Hey, this is Sam Monreal from such and such real estate team. I saw that you recently registered at our website, www.suchandsuchrealestateteam.com. We're super excited that you're looking for a home, and I'm reaching out to see how I can help you with your home search." So in just a couple of seconds, you've introduced yourself, let them know where you're from, let them know that you're following up on an action that they've taken. Right? They have actually taken action to give information over to your website. You're calling them for a reason. This isn't a cold call. This is actually a warm call. Now, the very next section is actually the most crucial, most critical, most important part of the sales conversation. If you take nothing else away from this webinar, guys, the most important thing as a salesperson you can know is that he who asks the best questions controls the conversation. So as a salesperson, you want to be in control of the conversation. And by doing that, really what you're looking to do is to be an information gatherer, not an information resource. It goes back to that old adage, guys, that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And the easiest and most important way to show how much you care about someone is to ask them questions, to get them talking, right? If any of you out there, can remember back to maybe a first date that you went on that was a really, really great first date. Well, why was that first date really great? Is because you guys were interested in each other. You were curious about each other. You wanted to know more about each other. Heck, maybe you couldn't stop asking questions about each other. Well, the first time you talk to an internet lead, it's sort of like a first date, right? You're trying to determine whether you guys want to get into a relationship together, but it just happens to be a business relationship. So I would say the next section where you're asking good questions, where you're really inquiring about what somebody is trying to accomplish. So if we think back to, again, the activity that someone has performed when they have entered their information onto a website, there is some sort of emotional quality about them entering that information into the site that has occurred. Maybe they woke up that day and they're like, "Oh my God, we're bursting at the seams. This house is too small for us. We got to move somewhere bigger." Or maybe they just got a job transfer that has them being transferred to the market that you serve. There's something going on in their lives that caused them to go online to seek out information about real estate, to seek out more information and happen to get caught in the net that you have out there online. So in the course of asking questions, what you're really trying to understand and figure out is, what is this person trying to accomplish? What is important to them? And ultimately, during the course of asking those questions, the person will tell you how to sell them. And guys, I think this is even more true when it comes to outbound prospecting, because outbound prospecting, people automatically have their defenses up. They don't want to talk to you, right? They don't want to be hassled. They don't want to be bothered. So you ask the better questions, and it allows you to engage in a dialogue. So I think a good exercise for any real estate professional and their team and or their ISAs or people that work internet leads is to go through and make a list of, as many questions as they can think of that they could ask somebody on the phone to really understand their motivation. As a matter of fact, I've got a special gift For everyone that is in my private mastermind, and I'll tell you guys more about the private mastermind at the end of the webinar today. For everyone that is in my private mastermind, I'm posting today a list of 50 motivation questions that I've come up with. 50 motivation questions that you can use to ask on the phone. Because ultimately, guys, it's all about uncovering the motivation. If you know what motivates someone, if you know what they care about, if you know what's turning their crank right there at that point in time, then you have the ultimate way to relate to them. You have the ultimate way to engage with them because you understand what they really want. So again, those 50 motivation questions will be posted in my private mastermind on Facebook. And at the end of the webinar today, I'll tell you guys all about how to join that. All right, so you ask questions, things like, what is your timeline? When are you looking to move? How soon are you looking to make something happen? Oh, okay, great. What areas are you interested in? What's got you thinking about moving? Are you looking for a bigger home? Are you transferring into the area? Guys, literally, if 75% of your call is asking questions, then you're not necessarily doing a bad thing. You're actually doing a good thing. You're inquiring about them. You're getting them talking. I generally tell phone-based salespeople that they should be spending about 75% of their time listening and 25% of their time talking. I'd say the same thing with my coaching clients. With my coaching clients, when I'm on the phone with them, I spend, probably 20% of the time asking questions and 80% of the time listening. And so, guys, think about a sales conversation almost like a coaching conversation. You're looking to coach this person into an interaction with you where you're able to actually provide value to them and provide the resource for them. Now, in the course of asking those questions, you want to also add value. You also want to, if they have a question that you actually have an answer to that adds value to them and where they're seeing you as a resource and as somebody who can provide them with the expertise and the value and the experience that helps them really accomplish what it is that they want to accomplish, then all the better. So C, contact, keep it short and sweet. A, ask questions and add value. So ask a lot of questions, uncover needs and motivation, dig in deep, really get clear on what that person is trying to accomplish and add value along the way, sprinkle in your expertise. And again, guys, this isn't about you telling. This isn't about you telling them how much you know. This is about uncovering what their questions are. And then if what you know is a helpmeet to that question, then you throw in what you know. Because remember, this first conversation is all about showing this prospect how much you care about them. I'm curious about you. I want to know about you. I want to learn about what's important to you. Because really, guys, in the minds of most prospects, they don't care how many homes you sold. They don't care how many awards you've won. They don't care that you're the number one this, that, or the other. What they really care about, what they ultimately care about is, can you help them? Another little nugget, guys, something that I always like to say is there's only one radio station in the world that everybody listens to, WIIFM. What's in it for me, right? So remember, anytime you're in a sales conversation and you're telling, you're building yourself up, you're getting the antenna pointed away from what's in it for me, right? From WIIFM. You have to stay locked into and in tune with what's important to the prospect and how you can help them. Now, in the recommend stage, and again, guys, we spent pretty much the whole script discussion here talking about asking questions and adding value. In the R stage, that is really where you recommend the next step. So in the recommend step, and Ray, I know that this is a little circuitous way of getting to the actual question that you asked, but I think it's important that we went through that conversation about the script. And oh, by the way, in my private mastermind, I will actually share with you guys a script, my favorite online lead conversion script as well. All right, so the script then in the recommend phase, because this is the recommend phase is really where you're doing all of the selling. The recommend phase is really where, because you spent the whole first part of the conversation introducing yourself and uncovering information, sprinkling in value and expertise along the way. The recommend is where you actually do your first little bit of selling, and it's super easy. because by then you've established enough rapport, you've established enough value, you showed enough that you care, that it's really easy to say, well, Mr. Prospect, based on everything that you've just told me, I'd recommend that the best next step is for us to meet. What I'd like to do is actually set up a consultation in our office where we can meet face to face, and I can show you exactly how I can help you accomplish the things that you just outlined in A, B, and C. Now I'm looking at my calendar here. Would it be better to schedule that time at 2 p.m. tomorrow or 4 p.m. the next day? Great, 4 p.m. the next day works better for you. Now here's the final part of the process, guys, the encourage. I'm going to send a calendar invite to reserve that time in both of our calendars. I know you're busy, as am I, and I want to make sure that we both have that time set aside on our calendars so we can really see how we can help you accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish. Thanks, and I'll see you in 2 days. So guys, the closing is so super easy if you've done the legwork up front of asking all the right questions, doing that deep inquiry, coming from a place of sincere and genuine interest and care. Closing, it's a piece of cake at that point. All right, Ray, hope you got some value out of that. All right, so, oh, and guys, don't forget to throw in any other questions that you guys have along the way. Happy to take some off the cuff. Again, I try to be the resource, but if I'm not the resource, I'll be resourceful and go find you guys the answer some other way. All right, Jason always with the super awesome detailed questions, says, what is the annual conversion rate you use for your nurture database? So when evaluating the database and future business expectations, what percentage can we expect, assuming diligent lead follow-up and touch? All right, so this is a little bit of a complicated question here, Jason, because I think that if we think about this in terms specifically of nurtures gathered from outbound prospecting, which I think is the way that you mean it, so that's why the way that I'm going to answer your question. You know, nurtures gained from outbound prospecting, we all know that not all of them are going to get across the finish line. You know, if we think about the parts of our funnel, we have up here at the top, we have, you know, just raw data. Then next level down, we have contacts. And then next level down, we have nurtures. The next level down, we have appointments. The next level down, we have listings taken. And the next level down, we have actual deals sold. All right, so I'm actually going to pull something up here that I can show you guys. You give me just one moment to share my screen here. Okay. Because I actually want to show you guys this graphic because I think it'll explain it a little bit better than I could just in general. And just 2 more seconds, guys. Appreciate your patience. Sorry, just making sure I have the right workbook open here. It was in the wrong workbook. My apologies again, guys. I'll be here in just a second. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is from the Lead Generation Blueprint course that we created here at Sam Monreal Coaching and Consulting, so that we can really share with you guys what some of these hard won and hard fought and hard to figure out, frankly, metrics were over the past couple of years that we've really cracked the code on when it comes to outbound prospecting and these productivity models. So guys, and again, we're using really more generic models here, but they've held up over time. And with many of the different coaching clients that I've worked with over the years, these numbers have continued to bear out, particularly when you're focused on, not a lot of expireds and FSBOs like we're seeing on the market right now. We're mainly dealing with outbound prospecting focused on neighborhood dialing and really calling every house on Mulberry Street, then every house on Maple Street. That's really where some of these more hardcore efforts around outbound prospecting come into play. So with the ISA, I generally look at their activities, something along the lines of 500 dials should equal 50 contacts, should equal 5 nurtures, should equal 1 appointment. Now, from there, the conversion model, Jason, to more directly answer your question, is every 10 nurtures, and I think that's being a little bit soft. Hopefully, if they're really high quality nurtures that you're adding to your database, the number should be slightly better than that. But again, I want to give you a conservative model that you can work from. And then from every 10 nurtures equals 1 appointment set. Every 3 appointment set equals 1 sale. So in theory, every 30 nurtures that you add to the database should equal 1 sale. So then it just becomes a math equation, Jason, for you to determine what the ROI is for your ISA team, where you're saying, okay, I've got this person generating 30 nurtures for me. Ideally, they're going to result in 1 sale. How do the numbers bear out based on what I'm paying my agent, based on what I'm paying my ISA, and based on what I ultimately want to profit as a business? So again, guys, this is the model that I think that you can use to really identify the value of your nurture database. All right, so hopefully, Jason, I answered your question there. One other model that I want to show you guys real quick, if you'll humor me. This is something that I've actually seen has been really cool. One of my clients has moved to their ISAs spend half the day doing phone calls and the other half the day doing door knocking. So essentially, this is what their activity looks like. 250 dials per month, 25 contacts, 2 to 3 nurtures. I'm sorry, this is what their daily activity looks like. I apologize, I misspoke. And then the second half of the day, they're doing door knocking. And guys, door knocking is actually far more productive than making phone calls. So this is a really, really exciting thing that you can explore with your ISA team. Of course, in many markets, your ISA would need to be licensed in order to be doing these activities. But that's definitely something that many of you can accomplish. And they spend the second half of their day knocking on 50 doors. Look at that. Look at that number of knocks to contact ratio. It's phenomenal. And then the number of nurtures that you collect is almost the same as dialing, and at least 1 appointment from those combined activities per day. So definitely something that you guys can adopt and look at as a model for success with a couple of different things you could be having your ISA do. All right. Good question, Jason. Keep them up, brother. All right. And then Fawn, hopefully I'm saying that right, says, I recently heard about a system where you only allow buyer's agents to keep a finite number of leads in their pool at a time. They lead generate from a big pool of unclaimed leads. What do you think of this system, and how many leads do you think a buyer agent can efficiently chase at once? Great question here. So, when I was still in the mode of running a real estate team on a day-to-day basis, what actually happened at one point in time was not with our agents, it was actually with our ISAs. We found out that they ended up having too much follow-up, to do in one given day. I mean, if you're trying to get these high productivity, high prospecting metrics accomplished every single day, it makes it hard to do that rigorous follow-up activity that you need to do every day. So what we eventually switched over was to this idea, we called it a hopper, but essentially that's what it is, Fawn, is this big pool of unclaimed leads where anybody can go in and lead generate to those leads and really, try and identify opportunities from within there and pull those leads over into their individual account within the CRM. So let me talk to you about a couple of different ways that this can look. So if you don't have ISAs, if you don't have somebody doing sort of filtering of your leads, then I would say, as far as like new internet leads, an agent can really only handle somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 50, right? Because with all of the activities that the agent is doing, from working their existing leads, working their existing database, your most exceptional agent is going to have a hard time really effectively following up with and working 50 new leads every single month. Now, what also has to be happening is that agent needs to be diligent about sending those leads to kind of the we're not going to work these anymore pile, the dead leads pile. Archive is the term that we use in our CRM for leads that we're choosing to no longer keep working. So that's thinking about new leads. Now, in terms of active leads that the agent actively has a relationship with, I generally feel like an agent cannot effectively work much more than 60 leads, cannot really have a relationship with more than 60 or so leads. So, what this becomes, and again, guys, whether it's real estate or tech sales or insurance or banking, what this really becomes is a valuable exercise where, in your weekly one-on-one accountability meetings with your agents, you start getting them to be really honest about who they're actively working in their pipeline and who needs to be sent to the archive pile. Because guys, remember, with sales, the goal is getting to a yes or getting to a really fast no, right? If you're going to work with me, great, let's get there as quickly as we possibly can. If you're not going to work with me, let me know so I can focus on the people that are going to work with me. Guys, with real estate in particular, and any business to consumer sales, it is a high contact sport, right? And in part of that high contact activities, it's about getting the noise out of the way. It's about getting rid of the people who really aren't going to get across the finish line. And as real estate professionals, one of the best things that we can do is teach ourselves, train ourselves, and encourage ourselves to not think that every deal is going to close. Not every lead that comes into your system has a value to you as a business. So what you want to do is identify the small percentage that are actually going to get across the finish line that you can close. All right, so again, guys, new leads, just raw internet leads for agents, I would expect somewhere in the 30 to 50 range. Really 30 to 40 is probably more ideal. And then leads that they're actively in relationship with, that is roughly 60. Okay, so what does that mean? Total in the agent's account between new leads that they're getting and ones that they're actively nurturing and working, that's about 100 total leads. When your agent starts to get, 120, 130, 150 leads assigned to them, what that basically means is that they don't have clarity on what's important, who they really need to be talking to, and where they need to be spending their efforts best in order to get the results that we want, which is, for a buyer's agent, hopefully selling 4 or 5 homes a month. And for a listing specialist, it's hopefully selling 15 to 20 homes a month. So hopefully that answered your question, Fan. But yes, I am a big fan of the giant big pool of Kareem over here, my little helper, is laughing because, Fan, I just said that I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of you, because your name is awesome, but I'm also a big fan of this pool of leads model where you can actually have the agents when they are legitimately at a point where they need to create more business for themselves, go into this pool and actively work those leads. I'm a big believer in having, multiple resources attacking a pool of leads or a set of leads, because really that's where you're going to create the most lead conversion. Again, remember, guys, the problem in our industry is not people worried about somebody calling them over here and somebody calling over here. What the problem is with most real estate teams is that nobody's calling, and when they are calling, they're not calling near enough. So if you're going to have 3 agents call on a single lead, I think that's totally fine, because you know what? If one agent gets in touch with them, establishes a rapport with them, and establishes a relationship with them, then that agent continues to work that relationship over time. All right, guys. Well, those are the 3 really killer questions that I wanted to focus on today, because I mean, there was just a lot of meat on those 3 questions, and you guys really asked some good ones today. So big thanks to Ray, Jason, and Fan for asking some really good questions that hopefully I provided you guys some value, and you feel like you got some insight. So as always, guys, 2 things that I want to make sure that you're aware of. If you would like to have a free coaching session with myself or one of the other coaches here at Sam Monreal Coaching and Consulting, click on that link that I just added to the chat window. That will take you to our website where you can sign up for a free coaching session. I mean, it's free. You get to talk to, myself or Ronald Logan, who has trained, over 100 ISAs, or Dale Archdeacon, who is running the lead generation department for the number 6 Keller Williams team in the country. We would love the opportunity to help you guys take your lead generation to the next level. And then, of course, the final thing that I wanted to make sure you guys are aware of, and something that I know the more folks that we get in there, the more value that it will provide, is our private mastermind. So I've just put a link up on the screen up here in the webinar jam little window to the right-hand side. Guys, Mastermind is a private Facebook group where I'm regularly sharing content. I'm regularly asking questions. I'm shooting little videos. I'm really trying to provide as much value to you guys as I possibly can. And you know what? It's only $37 a month. It's literally less than you probably spend on coffee in a single week. And we're sharing nuggets in there all the time about ways that you can take your lead generation to the next level. So sign up for the $37 a month mastermind. And as a matter of fact, I'll give you a week for free, right? So you can go in there into the private Facebook group, see if it's something that works for you. If not, no harm, no foul. We won't have our feelings hurt. But if you stay there, you engage, you ask questions, you really, inquire on the things that matter to you, help you be a resource in every way we can. Guys, again, another fantastic webinar. Thank you for spending this time with me today. You have no idea how much it means to me. I value these interactions so much, and I value you guys spending a little bit of time with me. Thanks, and we'll have another one soon. By the way, if you have suggestions on some folks, next webinar, I'd like to get some other real estate experts on here to talk about some other things that you guys are curious about, some other questions that you guys have. So look for the emails coming out with a guest host along with me in 2 weeks for our next Ask Me Anything webinar. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful week, and happy selling.